Earth's grids and portals, gateways of light and unity. We're talking about the ley lines in Earth Grid. Extract from the book Crystals, Gateways of Light and Unity by Soluntra King. Even Star Creations, the Crystalline Grid. There are three main grids that operate through and around the Earth. The first we'll look at is the crystalline grid, which links the crystals in the Earth. Now we know that the ancients knew about all this. They even used, they say that temples for energy production and wireless energy. And there was a reason why they put their temples and pyramids on Earth's ley lines, the electrical grid, to capture the geomagnetic energy. Where this grid crosses are major portals, vortexes, dimensional doorways that connect inner Earth and Earth to other dimension worlds, stars and planets in the galaxy, solar system and beyond. The crystal grid keeps harmony within the Earth plane, and at the portals links the Earth to the stars and universe to have harmony with our neighbors in space, they said. So just as when the meridians are free and flowing, and so we are in good health within our body and with other beings, so too with the grids in the Earth. The ancients were aware of this and so constructed pyramids, temples, standing stone circles to align this energy with the stars and inner Earth and hold the beam, as it were, as well as creating dimensional gateways for beings to travel from other worlds. These beings are from different star systems, universes, and worlds, and all have an agenda with Earth. Many of them, having been here for eons, are actually starting the story of life on Earth. The dragon people, who are part of the reptilian story on Earth, along with the snake and lizard people, worked with crystals within the Earth to create crystalline grid. This created life on the planet as we know it, they said. According to the ancients, they came to Earth from Altar when the Earth was still sonic winds, and so went and lived within the Earth like many others in other dimensions, generally 6th and 7th. The dragon people connected the crystals around the Earth and constructed endless tunnels with the snake people. Crystals are electromagnetic, and the grid that was created through their joining put out the electromagnetic energy field around the Earth, the Earth drew moisture, and then life started to gradually form as we know it. Because of the energy that the crystal grid gave off as light, which is life was able to be created with a more harmonious weather pattern as the Earth stabilized and harmonized with the sun and planets. This created an environment that was then conjugable for many other star people to travel to Earth, to colonize here, and they were now able to handle living on the surface and cope with the gravitational pull. Some ETs have more of a story here than others, but now everyone is back to sort it out as we merge with the sun, central sun, and greater central sun, that we're all completing the cycle, ready to move on beyond duality and old dramas. The energy vortexes, which power their civilization, are in those tunnels, along with enormous stories of precious stones and stores of precious stones and metals. At major junctions in the grid, we have what we call the dragon layers or serpent vortexes. This is the portal that holds the energy that has the great guardian crystal beneath it. And these portals are spiraling vortexes that spin clockwise and anti-clockwise. This is how all energy moves in the universe, and with anti-gravity from the Earth to the heavens, and with gravity from the heavens to the Earth. This spiraling energy is serpent energy, that is the life force, just as it flows up to your spine, as the kundalini in your cells is the DNA that holds the coding of the creation story. It's strange how in the northern hemisphere, when we open up the tap of the sink and the water comes out, we notice that the water goes down the drain in a vortex. And it goes the opposite way if we're in the southern hemisphere. Isn't that strange? Now, as the serpent rises with us, so does our DNA activate the memory of who we were, becoming our body of light. And as we raise our frequencies to the higher dimension worlds, as the Earth is also raising hers to become fifth dimensional planet, for some time this is evolving way beyond the fifth dimension, and the portals are doorways into ancient civilizations that have moved into light which are now becoming clear again as we make the dimensional shift. Now, this is all, of course, according to some people. I don't believe this, but I'm just reading it for you. The crystalline grid, known as also as the dragon or ley lines, Ley, is working on all dimensions. In first density, you have the physical crystals and mineral kingdom. These same minerals are within our bodies and the universe. So the grid links all the major portals of the earth through the crystalline grid, which resonates in divine light as a window of light and a doorway between the worlds, linking with the light grid on the higher planes. So creating a grid work on many dimensions at major portals on this grid pyramid temples, standing stones, stone circles have been built. Ancient monuments. Now the pyramids, which are all over the world, not just Mexico and Egypt, hold a resonance of crystal light. Even structurally, pyramids are built of granite, which has quartz in it. The pyramids once kept the harmonious resonance with the earth and the universe, their energy working at higher octaves of light, and all of us who have parallel world connections with them are now like pyramids of light, bringing back the harmony. As we become as clear as a crystal, we have a harmonized resonance with the earth, each other, and the universe and cosmos. So we become the crystal or pyramid holding the beam and creating a new light grid as we open our resonance to that of the crystal grid that also runs through us. And at this time on the planet, a whole new resonance is being anchored through us as a clear crystals and through into the earth. As we become the transducer of the energy from heaven to earth, as we unify, we marry heaven and earth within us. The light grid. The light grid is the causal and higher mental planes around the earth. It's like us in all our higher inner self, so this is fifth and sixth dimensional. The grid is used often when you meditate to connect with others who are light workers, or whatever name you want to give those beings, angels I would call them, who are here in service to assist and in the change in cycle, and are either placed around the grid at different locations synchronically to anchor the higher energies at particular cosmic events, or who through meditation link in their higher state of consciousness see and know all beings as whole, healed and divine. The grid is used to often when we meditate to connect with others who are light workers. Now, thereby creating a higher level of consciousness to assist all humanity to make the shift happening regardless of whether anyone wants it or not. Just as day follows night, it's a cyclic event rather than a grand one. This grid connects everything in their higher inner self level of being, and often they are not conscious of what is happening as they work together, often while asleep and through trusting in their hearts to go where, guided on the crystal grid to hold the energy. Now let's remember the ancient temples, for example, in Greece, even the temple in Jerusalem had series of columns, and the people that went to pray would pass through these columns or even lean on them, and it would bring the geomagnetic energy through the earth into the columns, and when people would pass through them or touch these columns, they would get the benefit of healing and stability and a quality of spiritual being and health just by passing those columns. Now, the ancients knew about the magnetosphere of the earth, the ley lines. The temples were built on the ley lines, as we know. Now, the light grid is also where you travel in your body of light and soul level and can move through higher dimensional doorways and through stargates at different doorways to accelerate your own growth, as well as for service to others and the bringing in of higher octave codings of light to be anchored on the earth plane. This is where even on a personal level you can communicate with others, higher selves for the resolution of conflict or difficulties, or to give them assistance to heal themselves, as once their higher self receives the energy, it can be downloaded to them on the lower planes. This is where you work on what you may call the inner planes. Then we have the solar grid. The solar grid links the golden solar disks around the planet. They hold the energy of the central sun and coatings of light that create life as we know it. They are also working at a frequency of us when we are unified and being the creator goddess, God of our true self, creating heaven on earth and working with the higher dimensional aspects of self as a member of the golden solar disk is within our heart, our solar self, and one with the central sun. These golden solar disks are still in higher dimensions, hidden to the third dimension, while humans still see gold for power and greed, but are now activated around the planet. Some have always been active and are linked to the solar grid that brings in the golden rays of divine love essence to the earth plane. Since September 1997, the solar grid has been activated from Tiwanaku, ancient Lemurian site in northern Bolivia near Lake Titicaca, with anchors the sun god goddesses. This has been able to happen since the golden solar disks, one at the island of the sun in Lake Titicaca, had been activated over years. They were fully operating at the last golden age and assisted the earth to be aligned through its center to the sun, central sun, and greater central sun. At that time, everyone was their divinity, but still in more etheric bodies. We're now doing this again, but this time in full physical bodies, and so able to complete our sacred mission, the marriage of heaven and earth through our body of light. In 1995, at the October solar eclipse, the councils of light agreed to up the vibrations through the disks to the point where the grid linked them worldwide could be activated 2 years later. This is now the case, so the solar grid, which is very high frequency divine energy, is now operating again around the earth, and we also have the crystalline grid ley lines, as mentioned, that are linked with crystals, rocks, standing circles, and pyramids, as well as the light grids that link our higher selves to the etheric diamonds around the earth that has been well in place long before we were ready to open to the frequencies of the solar grid. This, of course, is running in conjunction with the fact that we are almost completely at 0 point, no magnetics, and the higher frequencies into no time as we move fully into the fifth dimension and beyond. And once we had to go to a major vortex portal, for example, the pyramids or Himalayas, to move dimensionally, become activated and awakened. Nowadays, because of the grids, they're flowing again, the energy is charging around the whole world, and even sitting in our living room, you are experiencing the higher energies. In the late 70s, early 80s, I was up in India, up in the Himalayas, at an active golden disk. I did not know it at the time, but loved living there in a small village with a hot mineral pool and a temple bath. I was not into ashrams or gurus, so just walked and sat all day in the mountains. When I came back to the West, I became a vegetarian, taught myself to meditate and do yoga, as well as dedicated to train as a naturopath and fully getting into my spiritual path instead of wandering. I was activated without even realizing it, simply by being at this place. And when I first started doing grid work consciously years ago, my intention was that everyone would be able to experience the energy no matter where they lived. And this is how, very much a reality now, by being in the higher energy field, we naturally shift into that frequency. Portals, dimensions, and doorways. Portals are vortexes of spiritual energy points like chakra or acupressure points in the human. This energy moves clockwise with gravity and anti-clockwise with anti-gravity. There are crystals within the earth that receive and transmit energy, assimilate it and send it through the grids, as well as storing, amplifying, and focusing energy. They are aligned to our solar system, galaxy, and the cosmos, often aligning to a particular star system, and are electric, magnetic, or have both qualities. The electric vortexes are male energy giving emotional and physical charge and stimulating the consciousness. The magnetic are female energy which enhances psychic perception and the subconscious. Electromagnetic vortexes combine both energies to providing balance. There are major portals such as Uluru in Australia, Mount Kailash in Tibet, Machu Picchu in Peru, the Giza pyramids in Egypt, Sedona in Arizona, USA, Stonehenge in England, as well as many other major as well as minor portals. Many of these are classed as chakra points of the earth, or for the particular countries they are in, there is something different. There's sometimes differences of opinion on this, but regardless, it's better to stay in your heart and trust what feels right for you. It's not necessary to visit any of these places, but often you may be drawn there in a soul travel or in a dream state. These places do hold incredible energy, activate and awaken those who travel either physically or in soul travel to them. And this often can be the case when people are not spiritual awakened but go there. Then years later, when they wake up consciously, they realize that by going to these places it had an effect on their energy field and consciousness and would have been part of their awakening process. Some portals are aligned to different star systems, and it's easy to access when you're at one of these. For example, the Mayan pyramids at Palenque are a doorway to the central sun Alcyon, at Koba to the Pleiadian star system on many different dimensional levels, and also a star map of this galaxy. At the pyramid in Lake Kuthraba in Queensland, a doorway to Andromeda, the Giza pyramids to Orion and Sirius, the Nazca lines to many different star systems, the Kooringal Chase National Park, Sydney to Ophiuchus, the Serpentine National Park, Western Australia to the Southern Cross. So accessing these doorways is very easy at the locations they are mapped onto the landscape on Earth, but when you are clear enough, you can travel through these stargates regardless of where you are. Most portals will call you when the time is right, and if you honor this, you'll receive an amazing shift in consciousness. One place I wanted to go to, Amarnath Cave in Kashmir, where Shiva and Parvati come down and anchor immortally on the earth plane, never happened. I was in Kashmir in 1994, 95, 96, and each time I asked my inner self if it was appropriate to go, each time I got a no. The militants shot pilgrims first two times. The last time they allowed pilgrims to go, but a great storm came and landslides took place. The place definitely wanted to be left alone. Or like Uluru, the first time I went in 1989. Uluru, as we know, is that reddish mound in Australia that the Aborigines hold as holy. I was, in 1989, he says, I was totally transmuted in the way I did my healing work with others. Then on the blue full moon and March equinox 2000, I was invited by the guardians again, made the star essence of the Southern Cross with some of the rock on the rock, then went walking over to the next location on it, and all the tourists had gone. I was there all day on my own. These beautiful flowers growing on the rock called me over to go in the essence as well. Then the Aboriginal women on the inner plains called me over to this pool of water. It had been raining up there, which was very rare, and I was naked in the sacred water on Uluru for the blue full moon and equinox all on my own. I felt so incredibly blessed to be given this gift by the guardians. So if you listen and go when guided, it can have a profound effect, not only on your life, but also on your planetary service. Some portals are doorways to light cities, and on the Wesak full moon, May 2000, I was called to Mukinath, 5,000 meters high, in the Himalayas, in Nepal, bordering Tibet. As the Shambhala energy came into the planet, this was a doorway for this to anchor on the earth plane. At other portals, it may be time to return things. For example, one experience I had in 1996 was returning Moses' staff to the Syrian lightship in Kashmir at Moses' tomb. It was a very tricky situation as tourists were not allowed to go there, but I knew I had to. All my Kashmiri friends were convinced I should go, but of course I got there against odds with ease, and I was supported fully in the mission. Sometimes the energy may need to be closed, like the pyramid in Bermuda Triangle that sucks in all the airplanes and ships into it. When on any of these missions, it can only succeed when done in alignment with divine will, allowing and in total connection to source and guardians of these places. There are also portals that are reopening, like the Light City in Antarctica, and being reactivated for the earth changes, or ones that are anchored in vast energies for the changes like Tikal in Guatemala. Now, there are also new portals being made very active as we are now aligned to the second sun in the galactic center, such as at Rainbow Beach, Queensland, and Lake Waikaremoana in New Zealand. Portals will also often have light ships or motherships over them, or they are doorways for ships to come out from the inner earth. Then there are the Serpent Tunnels, and these can only be traveled through when we're vibrating at higher light octaves. There are doorways to these tunnels, especially locations such as Portala at Lasha, or through the Andes, or through India to Australia, which are in a higher dimension, and one can travel the tunnels through the earth and to the inner earth. There are also cities and civilizations under the earth at certain locations, such as Mount Shasta, and these portals are often at sacred rocks or mountains. So these portals are doorways for many dimensional worlds that interface with the third dimension. Some of the very old portals are also now transferring their energy to new energy places, and this is particularly true of the Northern Hemisphere, ones as the Southern Hemisphere are bringing in the new energies. A lot of these old portals are still being fought over by beings still hooked into the duality dramas of light and dark, like the Sinai Desert or Iran or Babylon, whereas the new energy portals operating in oneness and are hidden to most, as some people are still seeking to get something rather than being of service, trusting and holding oneness. So there is a major reshuffle going on at present, and many astral dramas in this game of duality has its final throes. A lot of these new energy portals are not even sensed by people unless they resonate in unity with their being and all creation. Stone code keepers and gateways. The codings of the living library, which illuminates from the central sun of our divine selves at the level of frequencies stored in our DNA. The full codings are 40,000 strands, rather than 2 strands. As an enslaved human body, they're also found in our bones and the stones and crystals of the earth. The crystalline matrix of light that we are, as we awaken to our divinity and come from love rather than fear, we get clear like a crystal. The more we are cleared, the more we're able to ascend to full spectrum of the color coding of DNA to our Christ light body. We remember our multidimensional selves and higher purpose for being here on earth. We open up our consciousness and expand our awareness, having inner vision, telepathic connection, awareness of other dimensions and worlds, and clear perception of the energies we are working with or are moving towards. The rocks and stones also hold the codings of divine blueprint, as do we. Earth was seeded from countless galaxy civilizations, and all the information was stored in earth, in rock and bone, and we as humans hold the key to the gateway of our own divinity. We are very incredible beings, and our genetics, when activated, are amazing. When we come from the love that we realize we are hologram. We have created myriad holograms of ourselves as we experience the further extremes of our love in the human body on earth. And we realize we are the earth. There is no separation, and what is the earth is us. Even the earth changes are our changes, so we become at peace and unifying love. The earth also shifts in peace, and it's all up to us. Many of the rocks, and this includes mountains, rock outcrops or hills, standing stones and steles, pillars that is, are often very active already or are becoming activated again as we merge into the higher dimensions and the veils begin to disappear. They are gateways through into the higher octaves of light cities, and light grids and dimensions. Some examples of rock gateways. Uluru in the center of Australia is one such rock. It's the heart of Australia and the solar plexus chakra of the earth. And there is a mothership there in the inner planes, and many souls travel there to clear their emotional bodies, open up to the higher frequencies, and receive new codings of light. It is a major point on the light grid, focus and doorway for many beings in the dimensional worlds. Uluru is also a major focus for planetary healing and a portal that links all the grids. It's the sort of place that calls you. If visiting in a conscious way of honoring and surrendering with a willingness to change and open up to higher light codings, then you will experience a transformation. To experience the healing and transformational energies of Uluru, as well as assisting in the earth grid work and merging into the next dimension, you may not be able to get there physically, but can visit anytime you like on the inner planes. This is called soul travel, and you can go there in your sleep or while meditating or being still within. You simply go there, your intention takes you straight there. Open up your awareness by simply trusting what your intuition is happening. You can do this as you go there awake or the next morning after you have gone in the night. By meditating, simply align to source through your heart and earth. See yourself there, trust what comes, or if you choose to go in your sleep, then see all your chakras spinning in light and have the intention of where you're going before you go to sleep. You may want to ask your inner self to assist or other divine beings. In the morning, when you get a chance, tune in and see what comes up for you about your journey. Ollantaytambo is an Inca sacred site in the sacred valley of the Incas in the Andes in Peru. There are many incredible examples of the power of these rocks. At one place on the site is a natural rock that's a doorway through into the light city of An, which was a civilization from another cycle that's operating at high frequencies of light and love. An uses the symbol of the sun and moon, and all civilizations using these symbols are connected to An. As the energies got denser, An went beyond the veil into the higher dimensions that appeared separate from third density Earth, and now as the veils are disappearing, as we once again merge with the higher realms, it's becoming easier to step through into these higher dimensions or worlds within the Earth. The dimensions are no longer so separate, and we can walk through. Also at this time, that this site is the cosmic computer rock. It's been laser cut like all others that make up the site, but is now away from the site and so not disturbed. When two friends of mine connected with it, having all remembered coming from from the stars at one point when the site was created, my friends remembered building the site and the knowledge of how the water was channeled. There was a stone channel of water next to the rock that came down the hill. As the rock was activated, the water started to flow uphill with anti-gravity, and it stayed like that and felt incredible to stand in. Next, I laid down on the rock. My friends were standing on the hill above watching, and they said my body was moving, my head aligned to all the mountains around it. I felt completely stationary the whole time, but after making an attunement was shown the last cataclysm with the words very clear of how important it was that humanity get clear. And then I saw all the power places on Earth, one at a time, as they were realigned with the cosmic computer rock, so called because on the higher levels it is a golden connector of sacred geometry, and just like the cosmic computer, the major link in the grid. Some other examples are rocks that have been specially carved into code keepers, aligners, and unifiers of solar, lunar, and stellar energies and their cycles, and of divine energy like the sun god, goddess at Tiwanaku in the Andes in Bolivia. Stonehenge in England and the steles and pyramids at the Mayan sites in Mexico and Guatemala, the statues of the gods at Easter Island. Every country has pyramids and standing stones. A lot of these have been hidden by time and deteriorated, more recently still hidden by politics and power dramas. Crystals both physical and on the higher levels in mountains like Machu Picchu in the Andes, Mount Kailash in Tibet, the crown chakra of the earth and home of Shiva and Parvati, the Himalayas, abode of the gods, and the Andes, which are also doorways to the councils of light. You'll find in your own locality a hill, mountain, or rocks that hold higher frequencies of light and are doorways and links in the grid. These places you feel drawn to, and just being in their energy is a transforming experience. We all have a strong connection to these interdimensional doorways, or there will be a place on the planet where you actually came in the first time, and a portal you will leave from. Your higher self uses these energies for your purpose on Earth. Even when you were birthed into this body, your higher self was able to utilize the energy of the local vortex near where you were birthed to anchor in your higher self and multidimensional energies. This portal is linked up to your own soul story and has energies that are in harmony with your vibrations. Connect to a portal and travel the grid. It's a meditation to do at a place that feels energized or special to you. If you doubt, you can check it out to see if if it's a doorway, and if so, which way the energy runs and where it's connected to on the grid. And most importantly, just trust if you feel a certain place is right. It could be on top of a hill, at a river mouth, a certain place on the coast, or in a valley or forest. You may wish to take crystals with you, make a circle, medicine wheel, or any other sacred shape you feel guided. You may also feel to take candles, incense, water, flowers, or other crystals or feathers, herbs, essences, etc. Always trust what you feel to bring, if anything at all. Connect to Spirit, Earth, your divine self, the source within your heart, and the guardian of the place, guides, golden beings, and all divine beings in the one heart, the elementals. And sitting with the spine straight on the earth is preferable. Relax and deepen. The spiritual rainbow moves up through your center and other chakras. Feel and sense this and be with it a while. As it reaches the top of the head, flows to the crown, sparkling white and golden effervescent light. And keep your awareness of the spiraling rainbows of light still coming down from spirit all around you to earth and base chakra, then up through your center and onto the top. And you will merge into a crystal and become radiant with light through all your body. So this is a very long article. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's from Crystal Gateways of Light and Unity by Solundra King. And it's on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.